little skeletons. I've got some big news. Weird True Crime is now available ad-free on both Patreon and Apple Podcasts. For just $3 a month, you can say goodbye to ads and enjoy uninterrupted listening. But wait, there's more. For $5 a month, you can join our Discord group, the Chaos Corner Skeletons, and hang out with fellow true crime fans just like you. And if you're feeling extra spooky, become an Ultimate Skelly for $10 a month on Patreon to get access to unfiltered, mostly unedited video episodes. As a big thank you, we will give you a special shout out on the show. Thanks for keeping it weird and supporting us. Bye.
Hi. Hello. I think I can speak for most of Texas here. To our friends up north, your weather is in our backyard and requires your immediate assistance in removal. Please. Thank you. Well, since we're all going to be sequestered into our houses for the next few days, let's dig into some funnies from Reddit.
We've covered a range of topics on Reddit from Am I the Asshole to Thanksgiving stories and more. Today, let's dive into the wild world of funny police moments, because not all cops are bad. But before we get started, let's hear our riddle for the day. In prison, I will be found, but I'll never be in court unless there's more than one. What am I? Stay tuned to the end to find out the answer.
Also, if you like being a part of our creepy little corner of chaos, it would mean so much to us if you could take a few moments to give us a review wherever you're listening and absorbing us into your ear holes. It'll help us keep making more dopamine-releasing content for your enjoyment in the future.
We also highly recommend giving us a follow on our Instagram to enjoy all these sarcasm-filled memes and case-related visuals. We even have a broadcast channel where we pop in and yap to you from time to time. All right, no more ado. Let's do this.
Some of these are actually from law enforcement officers, and others are just some lucky people. First up, went to the emergency room as part of a canvass for a missing person. Not there. While we were waiting for admission staff to go through the patient records, had an old, less than 7-year-old lady patient stare at me for a good 30 seconds. That may not seem like very long, but go out in public and intently stare at a total stranger for half a minute straight without saying anything? It may as well be a lifetime. Really giving me one, twice, thrice over. Finally, she says in a very deadpan voice, "Miss, you look like Eileen Wuornos, the serial killer lady from Florida." My FTO, or field training officer, had to be helped off the floor. He laughed so hard. She wasn't done. "You look like someone the rest of us would call the police on, and you are the police." Then she started cackling madly.
Yeah, that's not something you want to hear.
I would have been laughing my ass off too, just saying.
That lady was like, am I imagining things or just that officer look like a serial killer? This is weird. What dimension am I in right now?
I love that she just made, that end connection. You look like some of the rest of us would call the police on.
But
hey, she may not have had all of her wits, but she still had some wits. And
I mean, at least
I'm here for it.
She still had her memory. She could, remember tidbits like that. That is so funny. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I'm just like, is this the job for me if people are going to think I look like a serial killer? I don't know. I have to
embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
That's true. Like, I've changed my ways. I'm reincarnated and I've changed my ways. Yeah. Okay, next one. Back when I was 17, a couple buddies and I were going to Wisconsin Dells for A Day. A day is if you have an A on your report card, you are granted free admission to the water park. The Dells at the time were a solid 2 hours away, and I was making haste getting there. I have a lead foot, still do, and always have. I was cruising at 70 in a 55, and we were about 30 minutes out, and then bam, cherries and berries. I've never heard it called that.
I haven't either, but I
so
think that
funny.
I'm gonna remember that one.
I like it. I slow down, pull over, start calculating how many hours I'll have to put in at the supermarket to pay for this puppy, and the conversation went as such. Cop, do you know why I pulled you over? Me, yes, sir. I was speeding. C, I clocked you at 72 in a 55. Where's the emergency? Me, there's no emergency. My friends and I were just on our way to the park for A day. Cop, A day? What's that? Me, if you have an A on your report card, you get into the water park for free. Cop, really? Then give me your license and all 3 of your report cards. With a confused look on our faces, we complied. Copper takes our papers and walks to his car. 10 minutes later, he returns and says, Cop, I ran your information and you're not wanted, but there's one thing I want all 3 of you to do. Me. Okay, what's that? Cop, keep up these good grades and enjoy the water park. Get out of here and slow down. Surprised and excited, we got out of there ticket and warning free. Best part was, one of my friends in the car used this story for a persuasive speech in a forensics competition and won first place. That's so cool. I mean, the cop is like, it was a 17-year-old kid just excited to go to a water park, and he probably didn't have a history of tickets or anything like that. So
probably worked in his favor as well. And then
that's so cute.
At first my dumbass was like, why would he even have his report card on him? Oh, Amber, because when he gets to the water park, he has to show proof of the A.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, I'm okay sometimes.
I was like, wait, why does he need to see all 3 of theirs? I was like, oh yeah, because all 3 of, same thing. All 3 of them would have had to have. That's cute. And the fact that he still remembers it after all that time. It's a very endearing
I bet that's something
story
that would last or give a lasting impression.
Yeah, absolutely. Way to go, cop.
Here's another little gem about how a couple of people were let off with a warning rather than an actual ticket. My ex-fiance and his best friend were high and driving around town when they got pulled over for speeding. Cop approaches window. Ex rolls it down, tries to act normal. Cop says, "Do you know?" with a lilt in his voice and pauses. Before X can stop himself, he says, "The Muffin Man?" Cop responds, "The Muffin Man." X says, "The Muffin Man!" The cop laughed and let them off with a warning. Probably one of my favorite stories to this day. I really hope that it was done with as much enthusiasm as you'd expect as well. Do the bit justice. If you're going to do it right.
Do it right. That is hilarious. The cop was like, yeah, you know what? That was too funny. It's fine. Just go.
I'm just going to go with it.
Just go. Thank you. Thank you for the little bit of humor in my evening. Aw. For all you Star Wars fans out there, I've been a Navy Master at Arms for the last 17 years. One night, right before 9/11, the front gate guard called me over. I was parked nearby eating, quote-unquote, lunch, to tell me he thought the car he just let through was a DUI. It didn't click until he'd already let them drive on. They were still close, and I caught up to them as they parked in the barracks parking lot. I parked behind them so they were stuck in their space and approached the vehicle. Checked the back with my flashlight, and as I was about to begin my spiel, and I could smell the booze already, the driver waves his hand at me and says, "We're not the drunks you're looking for. Move along." Without batting an eyelash, I leaned over, looked the driver and passenger in the eye, and said, "You're not the drunks I'm looking for. Have a good night." I drove away and parked in a nearby shaded area behind the old Del Taco and watched them high-fiving as they went up to their room. I told the gate guard to let me know immediately if they left the barracks. To this day, I hope to run into a guy telling the other half of one of the greatest stories ever. I can't believe he was like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Well, I mean, they're already there. They're already parked. Like, he can't
They're
really,
home.
I mean, so
Yeah.
I can see, and just, but the fact that like he just went along with it immediately, just, it makes my little nerd heart happy.
Absolutely. And I feel like I'm not one of those that's great at recognizing phrases from movies. Even if I've seen it a million times, like unless it really sticks with me, I'm not going to remember it. So if somebody had done that to me, I'd have been like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh, that makes me sad for you.
It's the ADHD brain, man. You don't remember things. You don't remember things like that. In and out. Nope, no room for that.
When I do talk, half the time it is a movie quote or a TV show quote or some sort of reference.
I know. I envy people like you.
Okay, on to our next one. This is too perfect. In Georgia, you aren't or weren't allowed to drive with anyone but family for the first 6 months of having your license. Well, one day after school, I decided to break the rule and pack my car to the limit with 6 people, including myself, to go a few miles down the road for wrestling practice. As I am about to pull out, one of my buddies comes running up begging for a ride, but I tell him I'm full and don't have any more room. He begs and suggests riding in the trunk. So I decide to save him the chops and sprawls for being late to practice and tell him to get in. It seems someone had called the cops upon seeing a kid climb into my trunk and they were waiting outside of the school. Immediately after I pulled out, I see the blue lights behind me. He walks up to my window and straight up asks, "Boy, you got someone in your trunk?" To which I hang my head and say yes. I pop the trunk and he lets the kid out, but notices a fur coat I had let the kid lay on. He asks me if it's real, and I tell him yes. Side note, it is a $3,000 fur coat a friend's mom had given me.
Wow.
He laughs, ends up taking the kid to practice, and tells me to see him at school the next day. He was one of the resource officers police on campus. I agree, but end up skipping school the next day, not thinking about it.
Smart.
Fast forward to the following day. I go get my car washed in town and see the 2 resource officers at the Starbucks next door. They're taking pictures holding coffee in front of their Mustang GT police cars when one of them spots me. I tell them I was sick that day and I will see them tomorrow. As I'm about to leave, I hear a knock on my window. Cop asks if I still have that fur coat, to which I answer yes. The 2 of them then proceed to take pictures wearing the coat in front of their cars holding coffee. They give me the coat back, write me a warning, and tell me to refrain from stuffing kids into my trunk. And if you're as curious about what the coat in question looks like as I was, head to our Instagram to see it.
So, true story, I went to the drive to open the script, and the first thing I saw was that picture. And I was like, what the fuck?
What is this?
What is this? I was like, can't wait to find out what this is
That
about.
would be the coat.
Oh. Okay, but why?
Why would his friend's mom give
coat?
him the $3,000 coat to begin with? And if it's a $3,000,
and then he just throws it in the
why would
trunk
you
of a car?
like store it in your car? I just so many questions, but no, like homeboy literally looks like Macklemore or some shit wearing that coat.
He does. But like, why was the cop so interested in
Can
the
you
coat?
imagine the pictures that they took? Police officers wearing this giant ass fur coat in front of a Mustang GT with coffee. It was a picture opportunity and they couldn't pass it up.
Okay, next one. Cop here. I pulled over a guy for running a red light. Walked up to the driver and explained why I pulled him over. The driver then lays this on me with a dead serious look on his face. Man, it's because of my passenger. Oh, God. You see, he doesn't have any legs, and if I had slammed on the brakes, he would have slid under the seatbelt and fell on the floorboard. Trying to take that all in, I walk around to the passenger side, and sure as crap, he didn't have any legs. All I could picture was him wriggling around on the floorboard, so fighting back a laugh, I told the driver he was free to go. Best one so far in my career.
I think just the sheer shock of the situation is what got him off because, like, come on. He didn't say anything about whether the guy had any arms or not. So he obviously probably had arms and could hold on and, like, brace himself. But,
Yeah.
see an opportunity and take it. Like, how many other times in your career are you going to come across something like that?
Also, I mean, if you need a reason to, like, run a red light or not slam on your brakes if the light turns, that's it. Or, like, what am I supposed to do?
I don't want to endanger the life of my passenger by throwing his ass on the floorboard.
So I'll just endanger it by running the red light. It's a lose-lose situation.
It's no winning. It's just humor. We're just here for the humor. And our next one. Was riding in the car with a couple of friends one time. It was my car, but I wasn't driving because I was really tired and didn't feel safe. I mean, kudos. It's good.
Yeah.
I noticed that the headlights weren't on, so I told the driver to turn his headlights on. He proceeded to look down and struggle to find the headlight control. We were approaching a stoplight. It was red. All of us in the car started calling stoplight to draw his attention. What goddamn stoplight? There's no stoplight on this dash. We ran the light. Cop blue lighted us. Do you know why I pulled you over? Yeah, because these morons in the back seat keep yelling about a stoplight, and there is no goddamn stoplight on this dash. Okay, have a nice night. Cop just turned around and walked away.
It's like, and obviously there's a situation going on here.
I mean, we have to remember, like, this is Reddit, so there's a 50-50 chance about whether or not this is actually bullshit, but I prefer to lean on the side of hopeful positivity. Like, maybe there is some, don't squash my dreams, right? But thinking logically about it, cop still would have made sure he wasn't under the influence or something, but.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't feel like the cop was just like, okay, whatever.
Unless there's more to this story, like they actually knew these kids and was just like, okay, I don't have time for this shit kind of thing. But
yeah. But also, like, it totally sounds like something I would do. Because I'd be looking for something like, I don't know where the fuck it is. And then you have somebody yelling at you and you're like, what are you even saying to me? That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't help with my current situation. Yes, actually, in fact, it does.
Like, I don't know. What does that mean? Yeah. Like, I'm telling you, some people's brains cannot multitask like that.
I believe it.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Okay, next one. Someone tried to teach me to drive a stick, so we went to a college parking lot that was abandoned during winter break. I was absolutely terrible. I can drive an automatic, but all my driving skills went out the window when I was trying to figure out how to work a stick. I couldn't steer and remember the numbers I was looking for and listen to the terrible grinding sound I kept making it make and listen to my boyfriend give terrible instructions all at the same time. Oh. Before long, a police officer shows up in the lot. I knew he was there for me and just stopped the car to wait. I was arguing with my boyfriend about my driving skills when he finally got to the window. The officer asked me if I had been drinking. No, sir, I'm just a really bad driver. He got a good laugh out of my honesty and gave me some tips. He's like, are you okay?
No, I don't know how to do this shit.
Hard relate. I tried to learn how to drive my dad's little Ford Ranger that was like a stick. Nope.
Oh, God. Okay, here's our next one. Not illegal, but here is my go-to story. I was called to a residence where the female complainant stated that a child from down the street had brought an item to their house and that she was at a loss. Upon arrival, I made contact with the complainant and she relayed this story. I was washing dishes and I looked out the window where all the girls, neighborhood girls between 6 to 9 years old, were playing on the trampoline. They were using a large rubber penis-shaped device to hit each other. I ran out and grabbed it and turned it off. The kids had no clue what it was, and in their defense, it was purple with sparkles and other inlays. Kinda pretty, if not for the fact that it was a 10-inch rubber dildo. Well, I secured the item in an evidence bag, and no crime having been committed, I made a command decision to return it to the owner. I took it and rolled it up in said evidence bag in such a way it would unroll when held by the top. I then knocked on the dildo owner's door, and when she answered, I snapped it down. Using my most curt cop voice, I said, "Ma'am, your daughter secured your personal item and was accosting your neighbor's children with it about the face and neck. At this time, your neighbor does not wish to pursue charges. However, I will need you to sign this evidence form." It was very detailed in description, so I can return your personal item. I have never seen someone show so much embarrassment and humiliation as that lady did. She could not even speak or look at me. The best part was this other lady that was deeper in the residence that kept insisting on knowing what was going on.
Oh my God. So my first thought is, does this really need the cops' involvement? Like, just take it and maybe call the kids' moms and be like, "Hey, is this maybe yours?"
Maybe it wasn't the first time it happened.
Oh, I didn't think about it like that.
Because, yeah, like...
then I've been like, you can't hang out with little Susie because she keeps bringing over weird toys and...
cops have much better things to worry about. But had he not done this, I guarantee you the lady wouldn't have learned quite the lesson that she learned.
You gotta lock that stuff up, man.
Kids are like magpies. They're going to be searching and finding stuff. And if anything's sparkly in any way, shape, or form, they're going to get their hands on it.
It's purple and sparkly. No. And you're talking about like a 9-year-old girl. Of course she's like, ooh, sparkly. Ooh, this is pretty.
Oh, God, no. They probably thought it was
probably using it like
a fairy wand
or something.
Oh, a floppy fairy wand.
Just so innocent.
I'm sorry. I apologize for the way that I am sometimes.
Oh, no. Never going to think about fairy wands the same way. Thank you. Thank you for that.
All day.
Okay, next one. I got a call about 2 kids, teenagers, smoking weed in their parked truck down by the duck pond. You know the one. Anyways, I contacted them and they were very respectful and insisted on filming me on their cell phones while I spoke to them. I told them I wasn't interested in their weed, still illegal in my state, but I wanted to make sure they got home safe, that the driver was sober enough to operate the vehicle. I did basic FSTs on the driver and determined he was good to drive. All the while, his buddy filming every movement and interaction. So I decided to have some fun. By the end of the evaluation, I had the nervous driver doing the YMCA sprinkler move and a janky-ass version of the robot before he finally realized what was happening. His buddy filming realized right away, and his defensive lawyer cameraman posture dissolved into a stoned kid that was now having a good time again. The driver broke down and busted up laughing before shaking my hand and hopping back in his truck. The cameraman gave me a fist bump and just said, "Thank you," in a way that I took as, "Wow, good to know some of you are human." Yeah. It's annoying that we have to live with this stigma that gets portrayed by popular media, and quite frankly, some of us deserve it. But it's still nice to know when you really get through to someone. Really alter their perception and break down a barrier put up by others. Cops are here to make sure people don't hurt one another. That's it. If you're going to hurt someone else, even if it's just a strong possibility, I'm your worst enemy. But if you're just swaying from societal norms that change like the weather and being yourself, have at it, man. You only live once. Okay, off soapbox. Oh, proofreading FST field sobriety test.
I wanted to end it on a good, wholesome, like actual from a police officer. Because you have no idea how long I scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, and very few were actually by police officers. They probably have better things to do than spend their time on Reddit answering questions. So it took a long time to find the good ones that I did find from the cops.
And it is important, and I think that's why, to your point, that's why you wanted to do this, was because we've been doing so many cases recently where the cops
fucked up.
Yeah, not doing their jobs on purpose or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, they're not all like that. And so it's important to highlight that. So it's cool that he was like, whatever, like, I don't care about the weed, just be careful and let's have a little fun while we're at it, because I'm still just a person.
He was doing his due diligence. He's just making sure the guy's okay enough to drive and not putting anybody or himself at danger. And, you're going to make someone do the robot or the YMCA while you're at it. Why not?
And the fact that the kid was so scared that he didn't even realize that was what was happening.
Scared, stoned, probably a combination of the two.
Probably. Like, I've never done one of these before. Maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. Oh, that's cute.
Okay, so Gina, I feel like I should know this, but do you have any funny cop-related stories?
Yes, okay. I do. And I think you missed it because you were very pregnant and went home. But at my wedding, and I can post the picture, at my wedding, so we got married on a Thursday night because we were young and broke and it saved us money. And, it was like, cool, all of our friends can take off the next day. It'll be a party, whatever. And it was fine. Everybody loved it. Well, we had hired a horse and carriage to come pick us up from the venue downtown and then take us to the Driscoll Hotel, which is just a few blocks away down 6th Street in Austin for anyone who's familiar with the area. It's a very old, historic hotel in downtown Austin. Well, it was time for the carriage ride to come, and it never did. And so I called the woman who was like in charge of it, and she was very rude to me about it, did not apologize. I ended up cussing her out in front of all of the guests.
On your wedding night.
While I was 5 weeks pregnant and extremely nauseous and just wanted to go lay down, let me add. So Corey's cousin, who's a dispatcher, he was a dispatcher in Austin at the time. There was a cop patrolling the area because it was like 11:30 at night. So he stops the cop. He knows him and is like, hey, my cousin just got married and like their ride didn't show up. Is there any way that you could take them to their hotel? And the cop's like, yeah, sure. So this cop pulls up, opens the doors for us, gets our bags and everything, puts it in the trunk, gets us inside, turns the lights on and the siren, and drives us down 6th Street among all the drunks and everything. I'm in my wedding dress and Corey's in his tux. So we drive down 6th Street and then he pulls up in front of the Driscoll, lets us out. And here I come. I get out with this princess poofy wedding dress and everybody's like, what the hell is happening? Like, what is this business? And he like got all our stuff out of the trunk for us and everything.
You know what? I do remember that now because I remember you posted a picture of it on Facebook and I was like, the hell did I miss when I left?
Yeah. It was such a cool experience and way better than a horse and carriage. So
yeah.
Much better story. So yeah, that's my funny cop related story.
Yeah, I love it. See, I don't have any myself because I am an absolute angel who never does anything wrong. Just kidding. I'd actually have to leave my house more to experience literally anything. But if any of you listening have a funny story to share to us, shoot us an email at weirdtruecrime@gmail.com. We'd love to hear it.
Yes, please. And before we say goodbye, let's hear that riddle one more time. In prison, I will be found, but I'll never be in court unless there's more than one. What am I? The answer? The letter S. Let us know if you figured it out.
Gina's still figuring. Okay, there we go. I literally just saw the light bulb turn on.
Got it.
Yeah, that's one of those cheeky ones. Cheeky.
Okay, smart, clever. No, I'm not good at the riddles. I'm not good at the riddles, guys. I'm smart in other ways, just not with riddles, I promise. Okay, well, until next time on our 100th episode, stay safe.
And make good choices.
Bye.